Football Clube do Porto, MHIH, OM, for the mythical creature atop the club's crest, and Azuis e Brancos, for the shirt colors. The club supporters are called Portistas. Since 2003, Porto have played their home matches at the Estádio do Dragão, which replaced the previous 51-year-old ground, the Estádio das Antas. Porto is the second most decorated team in Portugal, with 79 major trophies, of which 72 were achieved in domestic competitions. These comprise 29 Primeira Liga titles, 17 Taça de Portugal, 4 Campeonato de Portugal, and a record 22 Supertaça Cândido de Oliveira. Porto is the second team in Portuguese league history to have won 2 titles without any defeat, namely in the 2010-11 and 2012-13 seasons. In the former, Porto achieved the largest ever difference of points between champion and runner-up in a 3 points per win system, on their way to a second quadruple. In international competitions, Porto is the most decorated Portuguese team, with 7 trophies. They won the European Cup, UEFA Champions League in 1987 and 2004, the UEFA Cup, Europa League in 2003 and 2011, the UEFA Super Cup in 1987, and the Intercontinental Cup in 1987 and 2004. In addition, they were runners-up in the 1983-84 European Cup Winners' Cup and in the 2003, 2004 and 2011 editions of the UEFA Super Cup. Porto is the only Portuguese club to have won the UEFA Cup, Europa League, the UEFA Super Cup and the Intercontinental Cup, and to have achieved a continental treble of domestic league, domestic cup and European titles. At the end of the 2018-19 season, Porto ranked 10th in the UEFA Club Coefficient ranking. The club was founded on the 28th of September 1893 as Football Clube do Porto by Antonio Nicolau de Almeida, a local port wine merchant and avid sportsman, who became fascinated with football during his trips to England. Porto played its first matches with other Portuguese clubs, including one against Lisbon's Football Club Lisbonense on the 2nd of March 1894. This match had the patronage of King Carlos I and Queen Amélie of Orleans, who travelled to Porto to witness the event and present a trophy to the winners. Almeida's enthusiasm and involvement with the club waned due to family pressure, and by the turn of the century, Porto had entered a period of inactivity. In 1906, José Monteiro da Costa returned to Porto after finishing his studies in England. Like Almeida, 13 years before, he was also captivated by the English game, and together with some associates, decided to reintroduce the practice of football in the city, outside of the British circles. On the 2nd of August 1906, Porto was revived and Monteiro da Costa appointed its president. Although football was the driving force, the club also promoted other sports, including gymnastics, weightlifting and wrestling, athletics and swimming. Shortly after, Porto rented its first ground and recruited a French coach named Adolphe Cassine, who would stay in the club until 1925. On the 15th of December 1907, Porto played its first match against a foreign team, hosting Spain's Real Fortuna. In the following month, Porto returned the visit and played its first match abroad. 4 years later, the club won the inaugural staging of the Taça José Monteiro da Costa, securing its first ever major title. In 1912, Porto joined efforts with Lake Sos to establish the Porto Football Association, which began organizing the regional championship in the following year. Porto finished the first season as runners-up, behind local rivals Boavista, but in the following season the club won its first championship. By the end of the 1920-21 season, Porto had been regional champions 6 times in 7 years, and outright winners of the Taça José Monteiro da Costa, after claiming a third consecutive victory in 1916. The 1921-22 season was marked by the creation of the first nationwide football competition, the Campeonato de Portugal, organized by the National Federation. This knockout tournament gathered the winners of the regional championships to determine the Portuguese champion. After clinching its 4th consecutive regional title, Porto defeated Sporting CP in the inaugural edition and became the first national champions. While a dominant regional force, the club faced stronger opposition in the national championship, winning it only 3 more times in a span of 16 years. In 1933-34, Porto was denied participation in the Campeonato de Portugal by its Football Association for refusing to release players for a match between the Porto and Lisbon regional teams in the following season. A second nationwide competition named Campeonato da Primeira Liga, of silver and wood, the Arsenal Cup, having endured a 16-year title drought period. Porto returned to winning ways by taking the 1955-56 Primeira Divisão on head-to-head advantage over runners-up Benfica. Later that season, Porto beat Torrense to win its first Taça de Portugal and achieve its first double. As the Portuguese league winner, Porto made its debut